Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of mHUB Inside. Today we're going to talk about a project that is a personal project, actually. Something that I'm working towards as a product that I can sell, so kind of the ethos of mHUB. I am a huge fan of the board game CATAN. Big fan. A lot of people are, it says tens of millions sold or whatever. Enough so that I've introduced a lot of my friends to it, and I went ahead and bought the expansion pack, which the box, you can see, is right here. Huge bummer of this is now I have a second box. I thought it was kind of crazy that they all didn't fit in the original. And it seems that, at the moment, tell me, nobody sells an insert that is the original form factor to fit in the box that holds all the pieces. I have all the equipment. I thought, why not? Let's make one. Just as a little peek of the end of what you're going to see. So you can see everything now fits very nicely in the box, in the original box. So now I don't have to have two things on my shelf. I don't have to lose a small box. And it's easily differential. You can see each player has all their pieces. So let me take you through the process of how this was made. Very first thing I had to do was do a CAD model of exactly what I was trying to make. So in Fusion 360, what I did is created a model of all of the pieces. So you can see here all of the different pieces, all the different sizing. I went through a bunch of different iterations, and then finally did what I thought to be the proper size of the actual shell of what I wanted everything to be. So you can see that this object here is actually called shell. And what I did from there is I actually reversed. So I did a hollow of that, added all my fillets and everything right there, using the boundary fill command. So now I have my shell and then I have the actual model. The shell is the thickness of the material that I plan on using, 1.5 millimeter polystyrene. And so from there I actually have a mold that I can go and machine and adjust and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely an iterative process. This is on version 42, so just one thing to keep in mind while you're making stuff, always keep in mind, the very first time you do something, it's not going to go well. It's not going to go how you want it to. So the very first one I did, you can see I've done 4. I'm almost there, and I learned something every single time, so you have to keep that in mind. So the process of making this is Fusion 360, went into CAM, and then we went to the Shopbot. So there's a little bit of footage of one of these molds being made, which you can see here. As you can see, it creates a lot of dust and it takes about 3 hours per mold, so it's a little bit of a time investment. The next step from there, I don't know if there's some footage, there might be, but basically I use hand tools to smooth everything out, make sure it's as slick as possible. This is MDF, which stands for medium density fiber. It is actually a really good prototyping material. It's rather inexpensive. You can glue it up. You can see that this is a glue up set. It is also porous in that it'll allow vacuum to go through it. So using a vacuum former with this material is super great because I don't have to necessarily drill a bunch of holes. One of the things I did learn from this though is because it's so tall, I needed to drill some extra holes, or at least I thought I did, so that the air has a better channel to escape. Just part of the process, just learning things. This is a rather difficult mold just because it's so tall and there's such a amount of material that has to go up and down a bunch of valleys. So from there, once it's made, it comes off and is sanded and polished and maybe a couple of corners are rounded out. Then we take it to the vacuum former. So that is a machine that you are going to place a piece of material, in this case, as I said, 1.5 millimeter polystyrene, into the sandwich jaws at the top. Your mold is underneath. The heater comes across. The plastic starts to droop. Move the heater out of the way. The part comes up and gets sucked down around. A little bit of footage of that happening right here. So you can see that it takes a sec. It's about a minute, minute and a half per part. And then the very last step in the process is to trim it. And admittedly, that is something that I'm still working on. Hopefully by the time this video comes out, there'll be a little bit of footage. If there is, you'll see it right here. If not, then you're still seeing my face and I was just being a goofball. But the whole process has taken me a couple of weeks to get to this point. But you gotta remember that while you're doing this kind of stuff, there's a lot of learning curve. You can see this is 4 molds. So my next steps to get outside of prototyping is I'm gonna move from MDF into a harder wood. So this is a glue up of plywood, Baltic birch, which will allow for my mold to have a little bit more durability. MDF will start to break down pretty quick after 25 pulls or so. You'll start to lose a little bit of definition on the edges. Hopefully, very soon I'll have my trimming process and I'll be able to start producing these. This is a personal product, so if you guys are interested, there should be a link down in the bottom to information for something if you guys are interested in purchasing one. I hope this has been educational. Looking forward to next time. Tune in 2 weeks for another video. Thanks.